you ready to make technology work for you? Tune in to Act on Tech, the podcast where we break down the latest tech trends and show you how to boost your productivity at home and in your business. So, subscribe to Act on Tech today and visit alexcustomtech.com to see how we can take your business to the next level. That's Act on Tech, your guide to smarter tech for a smarter business. Alex Custom Tech, IT means integrity and trust.
Hello, hi, this is Alex of Alex Custom Tech, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something more for residential use. Some of these things and terminology is used in the business world or small business world or corporate world, if you will. But I'm going to try to focus this more to home users. And the reason why I'm doing this is because last couple of weeks, I've been working with some close friends, and we've been setting up some things at their houses, home servers. And I'm thinking, that'd be a good topic to cover here on my channel. So we're going a little bit off track. We're not focusing on business today. We're focusing on residential user, but there's takeaways that businesses can use. All right. So, and I'm also going to try to structure this a little bit more instead of shooting from the hip. So I'm using my assistant and we to make sure I'm staying on topic. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today is how do I word this? We're going to be talking about DIY things, and we're going to be focusing on servers, home servers, right? DIY home server setup. So again, I'm not gonna give you a lot of information, but when you finish with this podcast, I'm hoping that you have some kind of idea, and maybe you can implement this in your home and do some more research. You won't be able to get everything from me now, but you'll be able to at least start or be curious about this aspect of technology. So when I say DIY home server setup, let's start with the benefits. The benefits of a home server: data privacy, cost saving, and customization. Meaning that a lot of things that we subscribe to, for instance, we can actually do at home with our own hardware and get rid of the subscription. Of course, there's a upfront cost to it to build out the system, but then you save money over time, right? And for example, it's one example, like backups for your computers in your house and for your phones. If you have your own home server, it can do that job instead of you paying AT&T or Apple. Okay. Common use cases is mostly for media streaming, file storage, home automation, and self-host services. Now, let's break this down a little bit. So, I use it heavily for media streaming. So, I don't really have Netflix, nor do I have a lot of those streaming services. I think I only have one streaming service, and that's Paramount Plus. And it's the reason why I love Star Trek and I love South Park. And South Park has the specials on there. They drop the specials on there, so I get it for that. That's why I really pay for Paramount Plus. Other than that, I don't. I used to have HBO Max, but I never paid for it. That was just via my phone plan. Right now, you can have a media set up on your home server, and then you can stream it like you stream Netflix. I'm gonna kind of give you some programs out there that does that. It's gonna require setting up, but okay, I want to talk about those later. So again, common use cases: media streaming, file storage. You can store your files on your server, right? Documents, whatever. You can have it on there. You can access it from anywhere, from your phone, from your computers. It's not like normally you guys have a computer and the file is on a particular computer and that computer only. If you store the file on the server, it's accessible from that computer, whether you're home or you're not home, or from your phone or wherever. All right. And home automation. So a lot of home automation people are kind of like leaning into the home automation now. So the application that can run on the server that manages the whole house. Some like one of the things that people would have on their home servers, like the camera system or their security, that could run on the server, and it's right there on the server. Okay. And again, like I say, it's your home hardware, it's your own hardware, so you have access, you have control over that. How it compares to cloud service, like Google Drive and that kind of stuff. Like I said, there's an ease of use with Google and Dropbox, but you don't own that. That's not yours. Okay, that's belong to the company, and you get a limited amount of storage on it, and you got to pay for the rest. So it's really all about control and security, where you're responsible for the security, in opposed to relying on somebody else. Again, there is pros to relying on somebody else and give them that job to do. I personally like having the control myself, and people that I like, friends of mine, they'll hop into this type of stuff too. So I'm like, well, maybe I can share it with the world. That's an option for you guys, right? All right. Now with servers, all it really is a computer designed to manage resources and services. So when we talk about managing resources and services, you normally go on your computer, your desktop, and you pull up things from there, and you go on Google and you go look at whatever you want to look at. With a server, you're not really going on there to look things up. Things are stored on that computer, and then you access resources from it, whether it be a file. Well, it's always files, but whether it be a media file, audio file, or document like a PDF, it sits on that computer until you request it. It pulls on that computer. That's kind of the idea of a server, right? And it will be sitting on your home network. And if you do like a storage server, those are network attached storage, where they have hard drives. All computers have hard drives or some kind of storage, but then it's accessible to authorized users or to everybody on the network, right? And it's dedicated to that. Now, what's cool about these new like NAS boxes that they have, like Synology and those kinds, they're able to run virtual machines. So you can run multiple servers on one computer. I know this is getting kind of technical. Again, look into all this stuff that I'm talking about. All right, you can run multiple servers on these machines because of virtualization now. So you can have, like for instance, I run Plex a lot. You can have the server, the hardware, the bare bones, and then you can run Plex as an application on there. You can run some security camera application. You can run automation on there. You can run file services on there. You can run some kind of cloud thing. All these different things could be running on the server at the same time, and it's kind of isolated in its own little pocket, but it runs very, very good on like a NAS setup if you set it up right. And of course, you're gonna want to know about how to have some kind of redundancy, because this would definitely need redundancy, because you have files on here that are important, like your backups or your media files or any documents that you have. You're gonna want to have some kind of a redundancy, and this is where RAID comes in. Now, I'm not gonna go too much into RAID, right? But RAID is a very IT storage NAS term, which what all RAID is different RAID setups, but really what it is, it's a form of redundancy. When we talk about redundancy in IT, we're talking about how you limit the catastrophe. So when I say that limit the catastrophe, I mean like, okay, you have a file on a server, you want it to be because it sits on a hard drive, you want it to be able, if that hard drive goes down, you can pull the file from somewhere else. So instead of having the file recorded on one hard drive, say you have like 4 hard drives in the computer. Let me give you a quick synopsis. You have 4 hard drives in the computer, and the file, you have A, B, C, and D, and the file is written to A, right? If A go down, the file is gone. But if you have A, B, C, D, and A and B, the files are written to A and B. You write the files A and B, and then C and D copies A and B. So if A go down or B go down, you still have the files on C and D. So it just copies the file, duplicate the file. It's not on one hard drive. That's what kind of RAID is. Now it is RAID 0, RAID 1, and it goes on. So I'm not going to go into that. That's very technical, but that's kind of the idea behind RAID. It's a redundancy form. Okay, choose the right hardware. Now, this is the fun part for me. Like, what are you going to be doing with it? Okay, I have multiple servers in my office and in my home, right? But I have one server right now. And what's cool about this is that a lot of these over-the-counter store NAS boxes, or not NAS boxes, yeah, NAS attached storage, like Synology, they can do this out the box, right? So like one of the things I just set up for two of my friends is the Plex server. So I told them what to get. They get the NAS Synology, and I told them to download Plex, and I helped them configure it, and now they use that as their main streaming service, right? Which is something that they hoard, but out the box you get the hardware. You can buy that over the counter. You can go to Micro Center, you can go to Let's Buy and pick that up, or you can repurpose an old computer, right? You can repurpose an old computer if you're trying to do something simple like file sharing or file storage or backups. You can, any old computer lying around the house, you can repurpose that. There's still a couple of hard drives in there. Maybe you want to expand the RAM, get a more modern, a newer CPU, kind of max it out. Whatever the old computer is, whatever the max specifications it can go, you just max it out and then put some new hard drives in there, and there you go. So select the right operating system. So when you go to a store like Best Buy or Micro Center, you can just buy a Synology and it has its own operating system. You can just go to town with that out of the box. But say you're repurposing an old computer, you would want to run a Linux-based OS on it. We talked about Linux already. We talked about that in a previous podcast. And Linux is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. It's a learning curve, but it's wonderful. So you could run Linux. Again, you can run Ubuntu server. You can run Debian. You can run TrueNAS, which is what I use a lot. Because TrueNAS is like, you really much, it's like, imagine a Synology. You go to the store and buy your Synology. You take it out of the box, plug it in, you put the username and password into it, you're off to the races, right? Take one of your old computers, you max it out, put a new CPU in it, max out the hard drive, max out the memory, get some new hard drives and put in there, right? Then you can install TrueNAS on it, and that's kind of like your own personal NAS. You want to install TrueNAS on it, then you can install those applications I talk about, like your Plex or your file sharing or your cloud, all that kind of stuff, right? Windows, you can do it. Windows is going to require a little bit more tweaking of the OS, but you can run this on Windows too. Now, when it comes to virtualization, which I would definitely recommend you do, right? Virtualization, again, is being able to have the one operating system. Say you have Windows, or say you have Synology, or say you have TrueNAS, right? You have the virtualization aspect of it is where you can run different applications, server applications, isolated from each other, right? That's what you want, because it'll have its own little pocket, and it will run like Plex will run in its own little pocket, and then you delegate hard drive space to that, and you can run Nextcloud in its own little pocket. Nextcloud is a cloud application that turns your home server into your own cloud. So when you leave the house, you can still have access to files even when you're not home, right? And virtualizations like Proxmox, for virtualization, or Open Media Vault is a very easy one to manage, right? Now set up your server. You have to install the OS, of course, and then you want to set up some kind of SSH for home management. Yeah, again, I don't want to go into what SSH is too much. You can Google it. It's just a way to be able to control the server from your laptop or another computer in house. Once you set up the server, you put it somewhere, it's there. It doesn't have a monitor or a keyboard. You have to remote into it. SSH is a good way to do that. All right. And of course, you gotta set up your RAID, which is very important because you want that redundancy, right? Media streaming. Back to that. That's kind of what we do. Kind of what I did with my friends and what I do here at home. Plex and Jellyfish does that. There's another one called EMPY. I don't really mess with that one. People swear by it. I like Plex. Jellyfin is also pretty good. All right, but I use those. Like I said, Nextcloud is great for file sharing and backups. You want to be able to back up the computers. Again, this is really cool too, because when you have the home server at home, it can back up your Windows computers. You can back up your phones, which is not a big deal again, because like you guys, people on phones, people use phones a lot. People are very attached to their phones. So when you have this setup and you have your cloud, you come home, you put your phone down or whatever, or even when you're on your phone, it will just download all the things you did that day on the home server, and you have to worry about it. Right now, this is for the kids. You can have the home server. Not for the kids too, but you can run your own game server like Minecraft on there too. Right? You can run your own game server. Right? Home automation, we talked about that. You can have home automation application running on it in its own isolated pocket via the virtualization. All right, and the cool thing about this also is that network security is yours. You can put it somewhere where it's safe, nobody has access to it. You can lock it down with passwords and credentials. Right now, of course, configuration. Like again, I might do a white paper on this, and I'm leaving the website. So I'm actually, you know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start when I do the podcast. I'm going to talk about what I talk about. Then I'm going to do a white paper on the topic, so you can go to my website and pull it down, and then maybe step by step you can actually implement these things that we're talking about. All right, so stay tuned to go check out Alex Custom Tech and look at the blogs, and you'll see this particular topic, DIY home server, and then you can see step-by-step process of how to do it. All right, so you want to set up. Now, you can open up the box, plug it in, configure it, and it will work. I personally, when it comes to servers, this is like a good practice, even for home and for businesses, is set up a static IP. But again, this is kind of like really networky, and you'd have to understand how your router works and get inside your router and isolate IP addresses. So it gets kind of technical. So yes, you want our static IP address, but I would more cover this in the white paper than on this podcast right now, because that gets really technical, right? And you know, VPN access, that's gonna be something you want to consider, because you want to be able to tunnel into it and use it. I'm not talking about what a VPN really is. It's not being home or not being there, but it's like you're there. You want to set up some kind of VPN access to it, so if you're not home, so say you're on vacation, you can actually access your router. When I go on vacations, where I get the chance to go on vacation, I just go on vacation and set up a TV, and I'll take my PlayStation 4, I think I have. I'll take my PlayStation 4, that's one that's in the box. I take my PlayStation 4, I set it up in the hotel or the resort or whatever, and I just watch my Plex from home. What it does, it goes all the way to my house, pull my files, and it brings it to the vacation home where I am. It doesn't matter where I am, it does it, right? Common mistakes and how to avoid them. Okay. Overcomplicating the setup. Start simple. That's what I said. Start simple. Again, you can use any old computer. That's not really what I'm talking about when I say start simple. You can get an old computer, just maximize it, run TrueNAS, and then look online, and you can just download the file. So our cloud Nextcloud, and you can just download Plex and play around with that. There's a ton of videos online about how to set that up. All right. Don't ignore the security situations, right? These are the common mistakes you want to avoid. Don't ignore security situations. Secure your server. Try to set up a decent VPN so you can remote into it, right? And again, don't overcomplicate it, right? Start off simple. Put Plex or Jellyfin on there, and then see what. Now, pick NAS hard drives when you do put hard drives in here. You don't want to just put any old hard drive in here. Again, people might say it's not that big a deal, but to me it is. They're hard drives that are built for certain things. A red label hard drive is a NAS hard drive. It doesn't spin as fast as, say, a hard drive for a gaming PC or for a laptop. because I think you have like 54 RPMs and then 72 RPMs. You want something that it doesn't matter how fast it goes. What the key is that you want it to be able to last, because a NAS run 24/7 all the time. It's constantly running, right? You might want to consider hot swappable setup. So what that is that you can just open the door or the bay of the NAS server and pull out the hard drive when they're bad. Again, if you're using a home computer, you might have to get like an IC dock kind of a configuration or adapter and then put it in there. And I mean, IC dock is a company that build server hardware and server adapters, so you can like turn a regular computer into like NAS. It's, you look it up, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, it does have like compartments. You can take out the drive bay of like your CD-ROM drive and put an IC dock thing in it, and then put hard drives in it, and then it's hot swappable, so you can pull them out even when the computer is running. That's what hot swappable means. You don't turn off the computer, you just pull out the hard drive and put a new one in, and you're off to the races. Right now, future proofing and expanding your setup, just like I talk about IC dock. You can set it up so where you can keep adding hard drives to it. Now, the thing about adding hard drives is not just adding hard drive. You have to be able to power it. So again, you can start out small with one of the computer lying around the house, but then eventually you might want to upgrade the power supply so they can handle more hard drives and so on and so forth. All right. I would say the takeaway from this, right? I know I threw a lot of terminologies at you, a lot of things at you, because this is a very exciting topic for me. I love servers, and I love what they can do. I love the freedom it gives you. I love the flexibility. I love the control, right? And I think once you get into it, you'll be excited about it. But again, start simple. Think about one of the things you want to do with a server. Say you want to, do file sharing. Okay, take an old computer, install TuneNAS on it, set it up, put a couple of files on there, files that you use all the time, and access the file from the server instead of from a local computer. Start small, and then little by little keep adding more applications to it, and you'll see how fast it grows and how accessible it is and how you're gonna love it. All right, choose the best hardware and meet your budget. Again, like for instance, like a lot of people that I talk to about this, go out and get a Synology, put two hard drives in it, 2 terabytes, one terabyte each, and they just go to town on that. So they set up RAID. They have 1 terabyte that stores the information that they have, and then they have another one that backs it up, and they go with that. And then later on they might expand. A lot of the guys that I tell this to, a lot of the guys that I work with and I'm friends with, they really love media the way I do, the geeks. So they have all their media files on there, and all the old shows. Like I'm binge watching Thundercats now. Okay, and I'm not even watching it from my server. I'm watching it from my friend's server, right? Because he has Plex and he has Thundercats, so I'm watching Thundercats from his server, and I'm not paying for Netflix. I don't think you even can get Thundercats anywhere. So I'm trying to say is that it gives you freedom, it gives you flexibility, and it gives you control. Can't beat that. All right. So I know this is a little bit different than what we normally talk about. Again, I'm gonna put up a white paper on this, which is gonna go into more details about how you would set up one of these things. And I'm gonna do this right now. I just did a blog post about a white paper about VoIP phone system, and I'm using to set that up in my office right now. And I just decided that whatever I'm working on, I'm going to do a white paper on it and then put it on my website. So whenever I do a podcast, if you're interested to see what it is and do some more research, or if you're interested to go deeper in the topic that I talk about on here, go to alexcustomtech.com/blog, and then you can see the resources on there and look at it and play around with that stuff. This stuff is really cool, man. I'm telling you. So like I always say, stay productive. And yes, so I'm gonna try to do more podcasts. I'm gonna try to get it a little bit structured using my my AI to help me with the topics, because doing things on your own is not the best. So I'm using my AI now. She's helping me a lot with my business, and I want to make you guys know, be aware that's what we're using right now here at Alex Custom Tech. We're using AI features a lot, and so like I always say, stay productive.